Hi everyone, this is the Michael Myers Fanatic back with another video, and this time it's a wrestling topic. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I'm going to be talking about the pointless feud that Stone Cold Steve Austin had with Ric Flair in 2002. Wow, this one was bad. I mean, damn. WWE just pulled this one out of their ass. Like, it just came out of nowhere. So, Ric Flair returns to WWE in 2001, and he's the co-owner of WWE. He owns Raw, kayfabe, you know. Everybody's under one roof. There is no brand extension yet, but Vince McMahon decides in March of 2002 that he wants both brands to be separate shows. They're completely different shows. They're under the same company, the same superstars, but different shows. That literally makes no fucking sense, but whatever. Anyway, so by March of 2002, Raw is its own show, SmackDown is its own show. And I guess Austin was a free agent. But then Ric Flair, kayfabe, signs him to Raw in April of 2002. And this is the part that kicked off the pointless feud. And let me say this. Pointless actions led to a pointless feud. Let me explain. Ric Flair says he wants to sign Austin. Vince is trying to sign Austin to SmackDown. And Austin basically makes everybody wait to see which team he's going to pick, or which show he's going to pick, I should say. And he basically tells Vince, he says, I'm going to sign with you. And then he says, April Fools, and he stuns Vince. Okay, cool, fair enough. We already know he doesn't like Vince. You know, no surprise there. But then, and get this, he stuns Ric Flair. And I'm like, okay, so Austin's just being Austin. You know, sometimes he stuns people for no reason, just because they're in the ring. But then, I think it's like the following week or maybe the week after, what have you, and he stuns Ric Flair again. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? The dude just told you he wants to be your friend, and you stun him? Now, I get that Austin doesn't have friends. I get that. Why stun him? He's not doing shit to you. He's not your enemy. Vince was your enemy. So anyway, he stuns him again, and I'm like, I don't get it. So I guess they're trying to say that was the catalyst for Ric Flair turning heel, because Austin kept stunning him. And so then from that moment on, week after week, Ric Flair starts screwing Stone Cold, metaphorically speaking, not physically. But you know what I mean. He starts messing with him, screwing with his career and all that. You know, first he says, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your foot on the rope and all that shit. And he's like, oh, I'm going to pick a partner for you. And he picks the Big Show, and then the Big Show ends up screwing Austin, metaphorically. And so I guess Ric Flair's trying to say, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. And then the next week, something happens to Austin. And then the next week, something happens to Austin. I'm like, where the fuck is this feud going? Like, what's the point of this? So, Austin's having a feud with Ric Flair because of something that Austin started in the first place. Remember, Ric Flair was the good guy. He was the baby face. He wanted to be Austin's friend, and Austin stunned him. And now they make Ric Flair the bad guy, even though Austin was the one that technically started the fucking feud? What? This is literally one of the worst storylines I've ever seen. And back then, I didn't have cable. So my friend would have to tape Raw for me and bring it over to my house. And sometimes he wouldn't come over. So I would miss certain storylines because remember, they split it into two different brands. So I didn't know what was happening on Raw, only SmackDown, because back then SmackDown wasn't on cable, it was on UPN. So anyway, I didn't know what the fuck was going on by the time I caught back up with Raw. I'm like, well, what's going on with Austin and Ric Flair's feuding with him over something that Austin started in the first place? I just don't get it. It just didn't make any sense to me. And then on top of that, they did a scene where Austin pees on Arn Anderson. And I'm like, are you serious? Stone Cold Steve Austin is out here peeing on people. Really? No wonder Austin left. You know, I think he was on an episode of a show called Bite This. I think that's what it was called. It was like an internet show. And one of the things he complained about was, he said the writing was shitty. And if this is the writing he's talking about, I don't blame him for leaving. I mean, this feud literally made no sense. Ric Flair was a babyface and Stone Cold stunned him for no reason. It's like they were trying to make Ric Flair Vince McMahon. It's like they were trying to do McMahon versus Austin 2.0. I don't get it. So Austin's mad at Ric Flair over something Austin started. And now he gets screwed week after week after week by the NWO and by Ric Flair. And we find out that Ric Flair really was screwing with Austin's career all that time. So now they're trying to say he really wasn't a babyface, even though he was. But they just pulled the storyline out of their ass because they couldn't come up with anything. So they literally made Ric Flair turn heel for no reason at all. He just turned heel. And they tried to say, oh, well, it was because Austin kept stunning him. Yeah, so again, it goes back to what I said. Ric Flair turned heel because Austin stunned him, and Austin got mad at Ric Flair because Ric Flair turned on him, even though Austin caused Ric Flair to turn on him. To quote Stone Cold Steve Austin, what? It literally doesn't make any fucking sense at all. And I'm still wondering, why did they do a scene where you have a grown-ass man in Stone Cold Steve Austin peeing on another man? Didn't Chris Jericho pee in William Regal's tea the year prior? In 2001? What the fuck is WWE's weird fascination with piss? I don't understand this company. This is why I told you, for me, WWE started going downhill after the invasion. When the invasion was over, WWE was over. It's like they couldn't figure out what else to do because Austin left. And he most likely left because you put him in these shitty ass storylines, and I can't blame him because you got him getting screwed week after week after week, metaphorically, not physically. You know what I mean, but he was getting screwed week after week, and this is all over a feud that he started, even though he was the babyface and Ric Flair was the babyface. So it just didn't make any sense to me. No wonder he left. And the reason I say no wonder he left is because I'm assuming this was all Vince's idea. Isn't a baby face supposed to be the one that keeps the peace? You literally made Austin a jerk by having him stun Ric Flair for no reason when Ric Flair was trying to be his friend. That literally, it just doesn't make any kinds of sense at all. He pees on Arn Anderson, which is gross. And like I said, then Chris Jericho peed in William Regal's tea. I don't understand WWE and urine. I really don't. That might have been a foreshadowing for everything that allegedly happened with Vince, but I'm not going to go there. I don't know what else to say. And then Austin had his final, and oh wait. And this is the thing that gets me. This is the part that really gets me. So then they say, well, we're going to do a storyline where if Ric Flair beats Austin, then Austin stays on the bench. Oh, wait, let me explain for the people that don't understand. So according to this feud, Ric Flair put Stone Cold Steve Austin on the bench, which means Austin wasn't allowed to wrestle unless Ric Flair let him wrestle. But then Ric Flair was like, okay, Austin, you wanna wrestle again? I'll tell you what. If you beat me tonight, which is June 3rd, 2002, if you beat me tonight, you're off the bench, Austin. And not only that, I'll be your personal assistant. But if I beat you, you stay on the bench. And you're my personal assistant, meaning Ric Flair's personal assistant. So Austin's like, okay, you're on. So then Austin fights Ric Flair, and Chris Benoit keeps trying to screw Austin. Same old. But Austin overcomes all that, and he ends up beating Ric Flair. So now Ric Flair has to be his personal assistant. Now get this. This is the kicker right here. This is the part that really gets me. After all that, after the week after week of getting screwed by Vince McMahon 2.0, aka Ric Flair, because we all know they tried to make him Vince McMahon. He'll never be Vince, but whatever. After week of Ric Flair, aka Vince 2.0, trying to screw Austin, Austin finally overcomes Ric Flair. And then what happens next week, you ask? Get this. Austin quits WWE. So he literally did all that just to walk out of WWE. Austin had to overcome all that for nothing. He left. So then they pulled another storyline out of their behind. I can't say it, because got mom in the room. So I want to be respectful to her. They pulled the storyline out of their behind. And now there is no Austin. So that whole fucking thing, she just left the room. That whole fucking thing was for nothing. Wow. And you wonder why I say wrestling is dead. Stone Cold Steve Austin's pointless feud with Ric Flair that Stone Cold started in the first place. If this is the shitty writing that Austin was talking about that made him leave, no wonder the guy fucking left. I mean, yeah, it was funny. Some stuff in the feud, like the stuff with the Undertaker and all that, that was all cool. Where he kept saying, what? He kept saying that to the Undertaker and shit. That was cool. But This was one of WWE's most pointless storylines. I'm done. I'm glad it's over. It was just stupid. Kind of like The Rock's undisputed championship title run. Man, let me tell you something. 2002 was a shitty year for Stone Cold. It sort of looks like they were trying to bury him. They even had Chris Benoit beating Stone Cold up in 2002. No wonder the dude fucking left. I would have left. A legend like Stone Cold? You know what? I'm done with this. It was a dumbass storyline. No wonder the dude fucking left. I would have left. I don't blame him, because the feud was over something that his character started in the first place. I know Stone Cold couldn't have been behind that storyline. Stone Cold really didn't have a good end to his career, because like XDN said, another wrestling YouTuber said, Austin turned heel twice in 2001, and then he has this dumbass feud with Ric Flair in 2002 that he started. Whatever. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on Stone Cold's feud with Ric Flair that Stone Cold started? Let me know in the comments section. Please be sure to follow me on all forms of social media at the MyersFan25 and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Thank you for watching.